kind of random.
What up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Hip Hop Now Podcast Reviews. I am your host, Vegas of Hip Hop Now Podcast, and today we will review music inspired by the movie Judas and the Black Messiah, aka the soundtrack. They also have a score soundtrack thingamajig going on, but we're doing the one predominantly, if not all I believe, produced by Hit Boy. Under iTunes is rated as an R&B album. There are R&B artists on here, but there are a lot of rappers on here, so I figured it'd be time I review something like this. Now, if you don't know, my reviews are based on projects that have a lot of conversation around them. So, sure, there are a lot of albums that last year I didn't do, that people liked or didn't like or wanted to know my opinion, but it wasn't necessarily the talk of the town. Maybe in some cases it should have been, I don't know. But the point of the matter is, everybody's curious about this album, which features a ton of huge names in hip-hop. Nipsey Hussle, Jay-Z, Black Thought, Nas, who else is on here? Dom Kennedy. I like Dom Kennedy. I don't care if you like him. And Rakim is on here. Also, A$AP Rocky is also on here. It's 22 tracks, and I gave it my good 3 listens, right? The first listen is more about impressions. Just hit play and see what I like, right? The second listen is more about listening to the content, the lyrics, and you know, how cohesive not only the songs are within themselves, but also the project as a whole. And the third listen is more so to kind of confirm the impressions and what I felt on the second listen, right? Did I really like this track? Did I not like this one particular track when we started, but now I like it listening to the third listen, and so on and so forth. Let's get right into it. This album is 22 songs deep, so it's a lengthy album, not too long. It's only about 1 hour and 9 minutes. I know for some people that's very long, but when you're talking about a variety of artists being featured on this album, I mean, you want the content to be that deep. And for those who just want to get to, well, how do you feel about the album, I'll just say this. It's a decent project that to me could have been way better. Honestly, could have been way better, especially considering the lineup. A lot of missed opportunities on here. But nevertheless, some of the standout tracks for me, Her's Fight For You, I think that's a very dope record by her, R&B singer, you might know. Nas' EPMD is pretty dope. Even the Black Thought joint, Welcome to America, it's cool. Black Thought does what he does. I like it. I don't dislike it. Other standouts, obviously, Jay-Z and Nipsey Hussle, What It Feels Like. I love the track. I think Nipsey did his thing considering wherever they grabbed his verse from. Jay-Z definitely killed his verse. But what else you expect? BJ the Chicago Kid has a song on here called Letter to You that I really like on the R&B side of things. And for the most part, a lot of the other tracks were cool, but there were a lot that I did not like. Oh, also I like the Dom Kennedy, Respect My Mind. This is the thing though, right? This album probably could have been perfect if you cut it in half. Honestly. It starts out very strong. The first 9 songs, if you ask me, is pretty nice, right? Like, the first 9 songs alone. And then you get to the track by Lil Durk. And I don't think, and that's, what's that? That's track number 10. I don't think things get back on track until track 15. And then it's kind of hit or miss whether you like a song or not. Now, in between 10, Lil Durk's On Your Mind, and Pooh Shiesty's No Profanity. I think what I found and what became a little disjointed for me with this project was, and this goes for even the tracks I like, right? It's not just these guys. Even the tracks I like, it feels like people are just here, right? And I remember Rhapsody. And when I say people just being here, I mean, it doesn't feel like they wrote anything specifically for this soundtrack. The soundtrack says inspired by the film. Some of these songs don't sound like they're inspired by the film, because if you watch the film, you come away, especially if you're African American, you come away with a different feeling, right? A sense of pride, a sense of power, a sense of remorse, a sense of anger, right? And I feel like this film, there's too many angles for an artist to take to create something unique that would contribute to a soundtrack that's inspired by the film. Whereas these tracks sound like these particular artists weren't inspired by the film, or maybe they were, but they lacked the skill or the know-how or the courage, I don't know, either one of those things, to write something different from what's their norm. And I think that was my problem, right? Step out of your comfort zone. And I know some people may say, like, well, that's what Lil Durk make. That's what G Herbo makes. True. But Lil Baby and the Baby didn't really, when they made Rockstar, right? They was still in their bag. They was still in their comfort zone. But their content spoke to Black Lives Matter movement. And I feel like, not to say that none of these artists touched upon it, but they barely did. The song is barely indistinguishable from what they usually create. Now, for G Herbo, I'll say this. I think because he's on 2 tracks, he's on another song called Revolutionary featuring Bump J. I think he does it there. And I like that song for that reason. But that's kind of the problem with this album, right? Maybe it's the arrangement, maybe it's the track, the number of songs, right? Maybe some songs shouldn't have been on here. I don't know what the situation is. Maybe Hit Boy is doing this soundtrack and he want to mess with all the people he worked with, right? From Jay-Z to Nas and to some of these other cats. Maybe that's what his thinking was. But I don't think everybody belonged on here. I don't think the songs were strong enough. Like this dude, what's his name? White Dave. He's not the worst rapper I ever heard in my life, but he killed the vibe on here, if you ask me. Because again, the first 9 songs on here do justice to the film. They feel inspired by the film in some way. And again, that I don't know, his music could have better records than what he put on here, but to me, it shouldn't have made the album. Like, the album can be shorter, it's fine, if we only gonna put the good stuff on here. One other record, so I'm not picking on just the younger generation, because it's not just the younger generation, but is the bonus track, the last track on the album, Black Messiah by Rakim. But I read that, right? Rakim is the last track, he's the bonus track, and he does a song that's, I guess you can consider almost the title track, called Black Messiah. This already gotta be good. And it really wasn't for me. Now, the content of what he had to say was perfect, right? He's really doing an autobiography of Fred Hampton. I thought that was dope. Who else could do that but Rakim? I love it. But I felt like that wasn't the track to give him, because the way he's rhyming on that track makes it seem so basic compared to his natural flow that it almost sounds corny to me. It almost sounds like a dude who just started rapping, right? Because he's really right into the rhythm of the beat. And I feel like, nah, this ain't it, you know? And in general, for those that want to know about the beat, right? The beats on the album, to me, are decent. I like a lot of them. There's some that's like just okay, but I never, besides that Rakim track, and the beat on that's not whack to me. It's just, I don't like the way Rakim is flowing over the beat. But probably if I was gonna say what's the best beat on this album, it's somewhere between What It Feels Like featuring Nipsey Hussle and Jay-Z. But I think I'm gonna go to the beat switch on the song Broad Day by Hit Boy himself. So Hit Boy is rapping on here, which is fine, okay, whatever. We've been around rappers who produce before. And at first, the track was like, it's okay. I'm almost gonna skip, but I'm gonna hear it out. But man, the beat he switched to, that should have been the entire song. The song felt totally different. His lyrics felt totally different. Doesn't ruin the song for me. But it's one of those things where it's like, man, if we could just get somebody rhyming over that, maybe you could have gave that to Rakim. Who knows? But all in all, 22 songs, hour and 9 minutes. I feel like Judas and the Black Messiah soundtrack is okay. I can't say go out and buy it. I'd say if you have a streaming service, check it out. Listen to it. It's worth a listen. There are some gems on there, some really good records. There's some really good R&B records on there. And the hip hop records are hit or miss, depending upon who you like, honestly. Because I'm pretty sure there's some younger cats who would enjoy some of those artists. And let me not paint the picture. I like the A$AP Rocky record, right? No, it ain't no New York bias. No, I like the Revolutionary record with G Herbo and Bump J, right? So there are records here that I do like, but I feel like we should have got some stronger performances from these artists if they were going to be put on this project, considering you have some legends on here. Rhapsody's on here doing her thing. JID is on here. There's some really good music on here. It's just kind of bogged down a little bit because not everybody is really rapping. No, not everybody sounds inspired by that movie, period. That's just what it is. That's going to do it for me. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Clubhouse if you want, at Vegas World INC. If Facebook is where you like to do your social media thing, you can visit facebook.com/hiphop right now. Until next time, y'all, I am not a critic. I'm a fan. Peace.
Drop it on the random.